You prefer physical books over Kindle. People you've just met tell you their life story. You'll forgive someone who backstabbed you. Then they'll do it again, and you'll forgive them again. Your train of thought runs over everything else on the tracks. You're a vegan for ethical reasons, but you're okay with your mom eating chicken because you don't want to hurt her feelings. You're so reasonable, it's actually unreasonable. You went to a shrink and ended up inverting the client-provider relationship. Unintentionally. Every group presentation in school made you cringe if you didn't proof it yourself. You think Donald is Vader, Steve is the Emperor, and Theresa May is Dolores Umbridge without all the pink. You've been to Sedona. You don't hate people. You just prefer when they're not around. Most of the time, anyway. You have to look at all the emojis before you can select one. You tailor your words and actions based on how you know other people will react. You can silently slam a door on someone louder than anyone else you know. Any insult is like a stab to the heart, even if it's laughably false. You know exactly what your dog is thinking, and your dog is currently over 20 feet away. You don't like movies or TV, with a few exceptions. You could look at a sunlit waterfall and manage to see the meaning of the universe within it. You blush when someone else is embarrassed. The only person who really knows you is you. And they're still inconclusive on that. None of your 7 cats are declawed. You've shared an inspirational GIF within the last week. Your favorite comic strips are Boondocks and Calvin and Hobbes. Your blocked list is longer than your friends list. People think you're either really nice or really cold. You're too private to let people browse your music playlists. You've been to every INFJ website. Your life would make a great book. You wake up with a cold and spend the first half of your day trying to justify a higher purpose for why you caught it. You loved Avatar. You feel guilty every time you click the place order button. You post too much on forums and blogs. You've thought about moving to Sweden and Norway. People think you're attracted to them just because you're so genuine when you're with them. You don't answer your phone or doorbell. You feel like an outcast even when you're with other INFJs. You laugh at jokes 1 to 3 seconds sooner than everybody else. You consider performance evaluations a personal attack on your integrity. The emotional counsel you freely give your friends and strangers could use a reciprocity agreement. Your online anonymity is sacrosanct. You love Debussy. You hate Bruckner. You revise what you write like it's giving you oxygen. You're a romantic asexual. You have stacks of unopened snail mail. You're both the most cynical and the most compassionate person you know. You'd rather have a staycation than a vacation. You're more aware of what other people are feeling than what they're wearing. You talk to your garden plants, even if it's just in your head. You feel bad for people who disappoint you. You'll drop what you're doing just to help someone, even if you're doing something important. You went to make yourself a cup of tea and ended up cleaning your entire house instead. You have a personal room or space where others are forbidden from interrupting your solitude. You are your own harshest critic. ISTJs make you insane. You actually know your cognitive functions relative to other types. It surprises other people when you actually mean what you say. You think agreeing to disagree is nonsense. You're the most pessimistic optimist you know. You're a pacifist in video games. You care about what NPCs think of your character. You listen to David Helpling and John Jenkins. You're a morning person. You're a night person. You are not a midday person. Your jealousy streak is more like an oil slick, but only when it comes to friendships and relationships. You hate prompts that ask you to summarize yourself into a description. J.K. Rowling is your hero. A lot of times No, wait, that's too personal. You feel like the observer of your thoughts and feelings rather than their owner. You think overly litigious people have no souls. If everyone in the world were just like you, it would be peace on earth. The idea of someone else being sad as a result of your non-compliance with their agenda is a viable extortion technique against you. Cloud Atlas felt like your life story. You spent more time in college studying subjects outside your major. You should have a degree in subjects they don't have majors for yet. You've wanted to set grocery store lobsters free. You ask people questions and already know what they're going to say. You take your tea and coffee unsweetened. You'd like to save the world, if you could do so while disguised as a pebble. You have a love-hate relationship with social media. You hate the news. You want people to understand you, but you open up as readily as a startled clam. You could use a baggage check upper limit for talking with friends, but you'd break your own policies. People shake their heads at you a lot. Nobody can tell the difference between when you're being funny and when you're being serious, including you. You love compliments from others, but your self-criticism outweighs them 10 to 1. Someone's compared you to Jesus or Buddha, and it horrified you. A 96% on a test is 4% you didn't get. You suck at mindfulness meditation, but you need it desperately. Your standards are much higher for yourself than for everybody else. You've been told you're a psychic. It takes you over 20 minutes to reply with 2 words to a text message. Making an unplanned trip to the bank is just too much spontaneity for one day. You love Wheel of Time. You can't stand Game of Thrones. You exist only in the past and in the future. You're a magnet for ENFPs and trolls. You're a nice person, but your dark side is pretty scary. You'd have a hard time making a list like this with a sense of humor. You're convinced you'll never find the storybook love you crave. If you do, you'll convince yourself that you don't deserve it. You know your friend needs a therapeutic chat before you even call them up. You can't understand how the rest of the world isn't just like you. You've written an essay in school and been told it was too long. People ask what's wrong if your eyes linger below the horizontal plane for too long. You married someone 10 years older than you, and you're the mature one. You're more alone in crowds than by yourself. You sleep listening to nature ambiance tracks. You sit in either the very front or the very back of any classroom. You read Nietzsche to relax. Your favorite chapter is On the Rabble. You're a pro at precrastination. You own a spider catch and release tool. Thanks for watching. Please follow, like, and subscribe to keep up with me. Blooper reel? Yeah, blooper reel.